Hey guys, Jason Nedved here. You guys know what it is. It is another weekend and another match. Last weekend we were in Montana. Hopefully I got that video up. That was a fun one. This weekend I'm in North Dakota. Next weekend I'm in Pennsylvania. And then going to North Carolina here soon also. But let's get into it. So North Dakota, it was a PRS regional series, so that's center fire. It was Northern Plains shootout. It was about 5.5 hours away from home, so it wasn't horrible. It was a good match. I will say though, it was made for newer guys, newer shooters. So that was fun to see those guys, and met a lot of new people. Hopefully made some friends there. It was good. But when they sent out the matchbook last night, and I finally pulled over, grabbed something to eat, and was reading it, just for a second, I was wondering, did I bring the wrong rifle? Because I brought my 6 Dasher. But reading the first page here, it was yardages, first stage of 268 to 190, okay? Second stage was 391 and 394. I'm like, huh. Then stage 3 was 354 and 368. Holy cow. These must be small targets. So, just for a second, I thought I was headed to I grabbed the wrong rifle to head to a match. I'm just getting them all confused or something. I don't know what, but yeah. But yeah, let's get into it. So, a lot of new shooters is why he made it the way he did. And it was really good because my squad and the next squad was a lot of new shooters. So got a lot of video ideas for new shooters of kind of how a match should progress or should go. Because in my squad at the beginning, they're like, well, I'm ready, I'll go. Or I'm ready, I'll go. Or I don't want to shoot that target, so I'm just going to skip it. And they just kept shooting that one. It's like, man. For a PRS match, that's odd. It was actually a PRS regional match, so it's not like PRS style or anything like that. It was the actual match. So yeah, I'm going to do a video on some of that stuff. Just, you know, new shooter, what to expect, how the match should flow, things like that. So that was good. Worked with them. Everything was fine. No frustration. It was just different, that's for sure. But let's get into it. Stage 1 is called Sap Reptile Gardens. So they had a dinosaur. It was a little T-Rex. It was pretty cute. 268, and then a right crow at 207, and then a snake at 258, and then a left crow at 190. So what was really tough about this one is I had to grab my triple pull bipod out because you were on such a steep slope. You were literally sliding into your rifle as you were shooting. It was crazy steep. So we used the triple pull. It was still hard to get targets. I didn't extend it far enough for some of the targets. Like I was able to get on the first few, and then I had to go way up here, and I needed even more. So I'm reaching out, grabbing it, sliding them out, things like that. So that one was difficult. Ended up getting a 6 out of 8 on that one. I was kind of happy with it. I rushed my last shot, so I missed that one, and the other one was probably due to wind. We had about a 15-16 mile per hour average today, depending on where you were. What I did like about this range, it was in a big circle, and you were parked in the center. It was quite a walk to stage, that's for sure, but it was just a big circle, so every stage was different wind. That was great. I absolutely loved that. I would definitely come back just for that. That was really good. So yeah, the little dinosaur, I couldn't tell it was a dinosaur until someone hit it and it started jiggling. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. That was great. But yeah. Then you have the MDT H brace. So I'm feeling good. You have these big targets, an 8-inch circle at 391, right? And then a demon head, it had little horns, about 8-inch also, at 394. So use the same dope for both, right? So 391. I'm feeling good. The guy in front of me just cleaned it. he can do it, I can do it, right? Just, I got this. Easy target, easy, stable position. I go to shoot, miss. I'm like, huh. Didn't think I was that off on my wind, so I adjust, miss. All right, right side, miss. Straight up, miss. All right, let's play 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock game. Miss, 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 miss. Oh, did I bump something? I don't know what happened. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm checking my turrets, everything's right. Checking my range card, that's right. I could not figure it out. I get done, and obviously immediately I want a mulligan. No mulligans, which is fine. But I asked, what is the yardage? They said 391. I look at my card, I got 291. So that means I was about 7/10 off. So even when I'm holding high, I could not catch that blade. I may have been close, but I could not catch it. I was probably 2/10 low still. And it rained a lot. So your rounds would just thud right into the mud. No feedback, nothing, just thud. So got a 0. I have not gotten a 0 for a very long time, and it hurts. That was not fun. Especially on something that major of a mental oops, being 100 yards closer than it actually was. So if it was like out in the field or something that I would have got feedback, or a berm or something that you would have that feedback of you're in low, you know, after my hard-headedness, I probably would have started holding up. So there's that. But that really hurt, especially being on stage 2. But we'll kind of get to it at the end, or well, right now. So after that point, you mentally have to be there, right? You just got a 0. You started off well. We started on stage 9, so this is the 3rd stage of the day, and it's going good, right? Your first stage you dropped 1, your second stage you dropped 2. 1 was because I was quick on it, and then the 3rd stage, the H brace, you get a 0 on, so you mentally have to be there. You have to be mentally strong on that. So I was learned from my mistake, right? You better bet I was double and triple checking my yardages after that in the Kestrel, on my card, all that stuff, right? So I learned from it, put my head down, and just grinded it out. I was pushing hard, making sure I got every possible point available out there. I felt good because other stages, like the average was like a 3 or a 4, I got a 9. So I was grinding it, pushing it, trying to make a comeback. So this is the comeback I made. The Vortex spool, this one is a lot of fun. So like I said, we're in a big circle. Your first shot was down here at 2 diamonds on a rack, a large and a small, and it was in a valley. So it was really tough because the wind was like coming right up that valley. So you didn't know if it was 11:30, 12:30, 12 o'clock wind. So what I did is I just looked at the grass in front of it. That's what a lot of this was today, is these targets were high enough that you still had long grass below it. So you could watch the grass kind of move in waves at that much mile per hour. So that's what I did. And I was able to get that little 4-inch diamond at 354 yards, not a big deal. And then you had to transition from, I think it even has compass bearings. So this is at 28 degrees, and then you had to go to 128 degrees the other way. And I was able to get those. You had a hog and a rabbit. That wasn't difficult at all. And then you went back over here to diamonds, and you switched back here, but it's just that wind going back and forth was a lot of fun. I missed the rabbit one of the times due to wind. I think my very last shot I missed it just off the left edge. I had too much wind on that. I thought I felt it pick up, so I gave it an extra 1/10 or 2 and slipped it off. It was hitting, I should have just left it, but I thought it was getting close, so got 9 out of 10 on that. Then stage 4, bullet central, circle, square, troop line. So this one felt really good because people were struggling with it. I went up to the squad in front of me, asked how to go, and they're like, supposedly the far ones at 900 and 1006 have hit indicators, but none of us can find it. No one's hit it since I've been here, and they were on the squad before them. So you had 3 circles, excuse me, 3 circles, 279, 553, 617. and you have to engage it twice, double tap each going out, and then you came back in at 482 squares at 482, 900, 1006. So from there, do circles, then you transitioned over here, shot the square, square, square. So you had 2 minutes to do this, and it was in 12 rounds. So it was a little tight for me, because I like to watch those impacts, see where they're at on the steel. I was able to get 10 out of 12, got all the circles, got the close square twice, missed my first shot at 900, adjusted to what I thought, because no feedback at all at 900 yards, long grass, mud, and it was gone. So I adjusted more wind, found that one, said okay, carried that over to the 1006, transitioned a little bit more left, sent that one. I'm not sure if both of those rounds hit, because they said 5 seconds, so I sent it, and then I sent the next one with the same wind hold, because I'm pretty confident in the wind hold. And as soon as I sent the second one, that plate was swinging. Like, it was, the hit indicator at 900 worked. The one at 1006, there was no hit indicator that we could see, but that even with my dasher, 6 dasher, it was swinging pretty good. So I don't know, and that's on me for using every second that I have, if both those hit or not, but it was the same wind. I just boom, boom, and as soon as I let that second one off, you can see that plate swinging. So could have been an 11, but I got a 10. That's fine. I was happy with it. So that one was really good because of, like I said, the wind direction here, then you went here, and then you went long bomb over the trees, like target, I think it was target 6, that last square, literally just obstructed by trees in the middle, but your bullet is obviously arching way over. You had been fine. I hit it, so it was fine. Stage 5, Hawkins Precision Cattle Gate. That was a good one, got an 8 out of 10 on that. What I did that I see my squad didn't really do is I started at the bottom, got my solid shots off. I used tripod for support on that, borrowed a tripod, so that was nice. And thanks for letting me borrow that, because mine had the glass on it, they were spotting with it, and yeah, not a big deal. But got on that, started at the bottom, and then the center of the cattle gate was its center point, so you had to do 5 different positions. So I just went bottom right, bottom left, and then up one, and then over to the right, and then up another, and just used tripod for support. Felt good about that one. That was a pig at 491 yards. I lost my last 2 shots, or dropped my last 2 shots. I felt good on it. It was the highest position, and they both looked like they soared over, or not soared over, but they were, 2 tenths high or something like that. So that was kind of odd. I don't know why it would have been the last 2 shots out of everything. But yeah, I needed those 2 points, obviously, from the 0 from before. Stage 6, amp annealing tank trap. So this one here, you had a tank trap. You had to do 4 different positions, or 5 positions, 2 shots off of each at a diamond and a square, and they were sporty. 4-inch. I think it's smaller than that because he switched it up on here. I don't remember the yardage, but he had to switch it up last minute. But it was a diamond and a square, 5 different positions, and you could repeat one of the stages, but you couldn't go from the center 4 in a row. You had to move and then go back if you were going to repeat that one. So that one went not as good as I wanted, because I got in the center of that tank trap and I couldn't actuate my bolt very clearly, so I'd have to get on target, slowly close my bolt, like my thumb was up here trying to close it, and then come down on it, and trying to stay on target, not to skyload or anything. And it was just really uncomfortable, really tough. Have to move the rifle, get closed, get back on, close the bolt. It was not ideal. Because of that, I spent a lot of time on it. So then my other shots I was rushing, because we all know my favorite barricade is the tank trap. But I only got a 6 out of 10 on that one, so that one kind of hurt, because obviously I needed to scrap together every point I could, and dropping them like that because I was too hard-headed, and it's like, oh, the center of the tank trap is the easiest spot, most stable spot, so I went center, up left. Well, then the tank trap's wanting to lean left, so I go back to center after those 2 shots, and then again I'm fighting with it. Oh, I just should have picked a different one to repeat. I spent a lot of time on that. Then target hanging solution speed stage. This one was good. So I already talked to the match director about having a tiebreaker only be 60 seconds, because a tiebreaker, if you have any ties, you should be able to go to the tiebreaker stage where it's timed and get an understanding of who had the quickest time. Everybody in my squad timed out. So they all had 60 seconds. So if it's your tiebreaker stage, they all had 60 seconds. So that didn't work out the way I think it should have. But we already talked about it, no big deal. But you had a small coyote at 512 and then an antelope at 880, and you are not allowed to dial. Their compass heading of 10-degree difference. He just has it on here, I just don't know that. So you had the coyote, and then you had to shoot that, and then transition to the antelope, and then transition back to the coyote, then antelope, coyote. So going back and forth. You had 60 seconds to do it. I needed every point I could. This average on this stage was a 3. I got room to make up some points here. I just got to haul ass, right? So I'm looking at it. I'm trying to figure it out. See it in my reticle. Need to go here. So I dialed my dope for the coyote and the wind. And then at the antelope, I needed to hold over 3.7 and an extra at least mil of wind, but it was a huge wide target, so a mil just made sense. So what I did is looked at my reticle, and 3.7, well, if I put the dot, you know, the Christmas tree reticle of the Razor Gen 3, love it. You put the 4 under it, under the antelope on its belly, and then the little dot, put it like right here on its shoulder, just below the shoulder. It would have been 3.7 and it would have been a mil in there, right? So that's what I did, or a mil and a half is what I needed. So that's what I did. And I shot, seen where it hit on the coyote. Okay, that was good. And I'm thinking about it, processing where I held and all that stuff, move over to antelope, put that dot where it needs to be, sent that one, and then all I see is a big poof, you know, hit that big ass steel. I'm like, all right, time to tear it down, right? So I go back to that cow, boom, boom. Like, I'm not even seeing these impacts. It is just get on it, shoot, move to the next one, just going back and back and back and back. I got all 10 shots off in 55.04 seconds and got 9 impacts. So I felt really good about that. I made up 5 points on some people there, if not more. So I was feeling good. You know, like I said, I had to put my head down and just get after it. All right, stage 8. I don't have this one written down. Oh, I think I cleaned it. Yeah, I did. Last stage of the day. Because we did start on stage 9, but we'll go over stage 8 first. So stage 8 was our last stage of the day. It was a 4-inch square at 227 and then a crow at 208. But again, this was, you're aiming over here and then you're aiming over here. So you had a 1130 wind on the square, so I held a 10th left and was able to get it. And then the crow, you had about a 1 o'clock to 1:30 wind, so I was holding 2/10 to 3/10 at that guy to the right. So just keep that right in your head. And then you had a 3/10 or 2/10 elevation change in that 2/10 it looks like. So going after that, you had to, it was actually kind of complicated. So 4 shots prone, 1-2 on the square, and then the crow 1-2. So obviously you're prone, you want to take your time and get on those targets, make sure your wind call is right. Okay, so shot, okay, seen that impact, send another one, we're good. Go over to the crow, dial that, hold to the right, boom, boom, we make it ring. Then you had to get up on a spool, a little spool. So you had to get left side, 1 shot at the square, 1 shot at the crow. Then you had to go to the center of this little spool, 1 shot at the square, 1 shot at the crow. The problem is the crow was so far over from where the spool was looking. Some guys had their barrel touching that. Well, that's gonna change your point of impact for sure. So with my long JE, I had to make sure I was in it. So I pushed my rifle into it and then got over. And then again on the tank trap, the same with this, I had to push up get on it, and then drop it, and then hit the crow. And then you had to get on the right-hand side once you're on top of it, send it, we're good to go, cleaned it. So needed those points. I felt it was a cleanable one, so I don't know if I made up any points, but I didn't lose any, right? At 227 and 208. So, and then that was the last stage of the day because we started on 9 and 9. I got an 8 out of 9 on it. This one was at 214 yards and 283 yards. The thing with this one is when we hit it, it was our first stage of the day. The sun was coming up from the east, obviously, and this bunny was sitting in the shade. All you could see of this bunny was its ears. Obviously, there's a head and there's a body, either left or right, but you didn't know where because it was in the shade. So that one was a little tough. You just kind of looked at it, one guy hit it, and it rattled a little bit, and then you can see the body was off to the right. And then through the scope, I was able to really see it a lot better, but still, like looking through binos, you could just see the ears. That's it. So it was a little tough, but got a 8 out of 9 on that one. I think I missed my last shot on the bunny. Obviously, I used all my time, and I was rushing it. I seen the ears and the head, went down a little bit to the right, and sent it, and it was off on one or the other, so missed that last shot, so that's kind of a bummer. But that was the course of fire. It was surprisingly good because when I read it last night, it was really close. It felt really close, but the target sizes, they were really good on some of the stages and really forgiving on other stages. And like I said, he would made this for newer shooters, so it was good. Ended up, after getting a 0, ended up in 4th place by I think like 4 points or something like that. So it's like, I felt really good. I was really happy with it. Because of that 0, you know, that should take you out of it right away, and to be able to come back and miss first by I think 4 points, I felt really good about it, you know. So came back, just mentally was prepared, or not prepared, but mentally was able to learn from it and leave it there, move on to the next stage, and then tear it down the rest of the day. So I was really happy with the result. End thoughts on this match, I'd definitely come back. It was 5.5 hours, all highway, no interstate, so you know, you're weaving in and out of town, slow down. I prefer interstate. You just set cruise control and go. Here you got to take all your lefts, your rights, and go straight for 10 miles and take another left and a right, and then slow down for this town down in 25 mile per hour, all that stuff. Yeah, it is what it is, but I'll do it again. I liked how it was a big circle. Every stage had different wind call. I liked the target sizes. I liked the degree of difficulty. You know, reading it, it didn't look difficult at all, but then actually getting there and the way you were shooting, the wind out obviously made a big difference too. And then, yeah, just another match, another weekend. Did learn, you know, I've never had that kind of mental mistake before where you put in the wrong yardage. So just, you know, another check system for me, I started doing today. Just need to keep that up at these other matches, but yeah, I was really happy with it. So, like I said, good people up there, hopefully made some new friends. Good match. He has another PRS match up there soon, or this year, 1-day match. If I'm available that weekend, I'll definitely go back. You know, so that was good. But just headed home now and get the 22 out to go to Pennsylvania for the first PRS 22 2-day match. So yeah, hopefully I get some footage of that and tune in and we'll talk about that. Thanks, I appreciate it. Like, comment, all that stuff, and we'll see you at the range, guys. See ya.